Here at theatlantic.com, we have a story by Marina Corin entitled Why Everyone is Suddenly Talking About Aliens. And I have edited this for length and content. So I'm going to use a notepad instead of going to The Atlantic. Besides, to read the full story, you need a subscription. But I got the full story right here. And the author begins, if ever a headline has demanded a wide-eyed, scrambling-to-click reaction, it might be this one. Intelligence officers say that the U.S. has retrieved craft of non-human origin. A website called The Debrief, which specializes in frontier science and is self-funded, reported this week that a former intelligence official named David Grush said that the U.S. government has spent decades secretly recovering intact vehicles and partial fragments that were not made by humans. A section of the debrief is dedicated to coverage of UFOs. Officials, Grush said, sought to avoid congressional oversight while reverse engineering these materials for the government's own purposes. In a separate interview with News Nation, which is an alternative to major cable network news, Grush said the military had not even discovered the dead pilots of these craft. He said, believe it or not, as fantastical as that sounds, it's true. Grush's account has spread quickly across social media and been repeated by news outlets, including The Guardian, Fox News, and New York Magazine, as well as plenty of local network affiliates. And why would that not be? This story has an authoritative source, spilling secrets about a government operation designed to keep the American public in the dark. Ever since UFOs, now also known as UAPs, for unidentified anomalous phenomena, first became a cultural sensation in the technology-fueled post-war era, people have been hearing stories like this one. The cycle moves this way. Someone with military or government experience comes forward with a strange experience or encounter. Given their background, they are a reliable observer. News outlets amplify the story, sparking public interest and demanding that the government reveal whatever it must be hiding. Officials deny that they found evidence of extraterrestrial activity without fail. This is familiar territory, Greg Agesian, a historian at Pennsylvania State University who has studied UFOs, told me, writes the author. The UFO pattern dates back to one of the first major sightings in 1947, when the pilot Kenneth Arnold said he saw 9 flashing objects in the sky over Washington State, maneuvering in strange ways and flying at tremendous speed. Coverage of Arnold's account popularized the term flying saucer, and everyone ran with it, including Donald Kehoe, a Marine Corps major turned writer. Kehoe claimed that military officials had studied some flying saucers and concluded that the craft were of alien origin. But they were told never to disclose the facts, Agesian said. Kehoe's writings, which were widely publicized, exposed dual narratives that have become recognized as part and parcel of the UFO world in the past decades. Agesian said, first, that we have conclusive proof that aliens are visiting Earth, and second, that it's being covered up by the government. Grush's story is already confirming the narratives. He says he has seen documents detailing the retrieval of mysterious hardware, and he gives testimony about what they contain. The authors of the article say that Grush's comments were cleared for open publication by the DoD, or the Department of Defense. As in Kehoe's case, The military denied a cover-up. The All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, or ARO, a Defense Department entity established last year and charged with reviewing UFO reports, claimed in a statement on Monday that it has not substantiated any claims. In every instance so far of the UFO cycle, the government, too, is effectively asking Americans to take it at its word. Anything more meaningful that we don't have evidence, anything that would provide more clarity, is classified, and the government has little incentive to share it. Government officials also have a documented history of lying to the American people. Egesian said, even when they've tried to come clean in some ways over the years, whether it's declassified materials about Roswell or the new ARO project, it always falls short of disclosure. Egesian is referring to an incident from the same year as the Arnold affair, when a mysterious craft crashed in Roswell, New Mexico. One of the things the military said was that it was just a high-altitude balloon. This was perhaps the first case to highlight the existence of alien wreckage. Will Grush's claims be proved or disproved? Egesian is looking forward to either outcome. Before this week, the keyhole pattern played out most recently in 2017, when the New York Times and other outlets revealed the existence of a covert program at the Pentagon dedicated to cataloging UFOs, known as the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, or ATIP. The whistleblower at the center of that story is its former director, Luis Elizondo, who quit because of what the Times summarized as excessive secrecy and internal opposition. The authors of the new debrief story also worked on the 2017 Times piece. The Times included in its coverage video footage from the Navy showing unexplained objects moving through the sky. The cycle began to move at warp speed. The public was rapt and encouraged. The government made denials that would only muddy the waters. The Times coverage and the intense public reaction prompted Congress to hold hearings on UFOs and to direct defense and intelligence agencies to provide reports on UAPs. That's another part of the pattern. Sarah Scholes, the science journalist, in an article called They Are Already Here, or a book called They Are Already Here, wrote, she wrote, faced with citizens who expect their leaders to demystify the potentially dangerous mystery, the government has historically tried, but not always in good faith. End quote. The first official government program dealing with UFOs emerged in the late 1940s, soon after Arnold's account of mysterious flashes. Lawmakers have already begun calling for official meetings about Grush's claims of alien wreckage. We fear that any resulting reports and hearings are doomed to be anticlimactic and lacking in big reveals, as have previous events, and so we are kept in the dark. The Grush cycle reminds me of a story that Scholes recounts in her book. Evidently it's a book. They Are Already Here is the title. Told to her by Chris Rutkowski, a respected figure in the UFO community, who has written about the topic since the 1970s. A woman once told Rutkowski all about how extraterrestrials had brought her on board their spaceship and shared their wisdom with her. When Rutkowski asked her if she had any proof, she showed him her arm. The aliens, she said, had operated on her, and their medical technology was so sophisticated that it didn't leave a scar. The absence of that mark, she said, was the proof.